What's up, everyone? It's your girl Shay here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. And as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm talking about these rumors that have been going on about anime potentially being banned due to two legislations that are currently going through. One is in the state of Texas and one is actually going through the United States through Congress, I believe. And there's been a lot of talk on social media about how this could potentially affect anime to the point where people have said anime is going to be banned, or they believe anime is going to be banned. So I did find an article that kind of talks about it. I wasn't able to find like any article like sources that kind of went more deeper into it except for this one, and I of course will link the article in the description box so you can read the article for yourself. It comes from fandomwire.com, and they kind of were debunking whether or not anime was actually going to be banned. So the two acts that people are talking about, or the two legislations that people are discussing, is the Screen Act and the Texas SB 20 bill. Also, if you hear noise in the background, those are my cats. Every time I start to record, they decide it's a great time to start playing. So if you hear them, if you hear noise, that's pretty much why. So the Screen Act is the one that's going through I think the Congress and with the Senate and things like that. And this is to protect children online from them coming across things that, from their words, can be harmful to their developing minds. So the Screen Act aims to prevent this through age verification or digital platforms, which is a great initiative. This is pretty much me reading from fandomwire.com. I have my phone in my hand, so I'm able to reference the article. We have seen so far the whole age verification thing start to come up with them starting to do age verification on YouTube. I know that recently, this past week, they started rolling that out for a few users, and in the UK, they've already started age verification for things like Spotify, as well as other like social media sites, as well as just regular websites as well. I know Australia is also implementing something for YouTube as well, where you have to be 16 or over for you to be able to use it. So this is what the Screen Act is pretty much going to do. So the second legislation is the Texas SB 20 bill, and this is one explicitly for Texas, I believe. This is not a nationwide bill, and this is to criminalize obscene visual material depicting minors under 18 engaging in certain activities. This includes everything from the depiction of an actual child to cartoon and anime characters who look like children. So this one has really murky wording, and so this was actually coming from a Reddit user, which is also on this article. They said the murky wording is what has anime fans very worried. However, there is no ban on anime at this time, no federal ban on anime at this time. But there could be some issues with anime being affected by these two things, not outright banning it, but it could cause some restrictions. And that's only because of the fact that many of us have seen several anime shows where they are like individuals in the show that are adults, but they look like children. And they're sometimes engaged in activities that children obviously should not be engaged in. And so that is one of the things that people are, or this article is kind of pointing out, that could be affected by these two bills. But overall, it's not being banned. So I want to get that very much clear through this video, that at this time, anime is not going to be banned. It just has a potential to be affected by these two bills. Now, many people have talked about the fact that what can happen, like if this was to happen, if anime was to be banned or whatever, or many people have been discussing the point of these legislations and things like that. And to be completely honest, like I understand what these bills are trying to do, but I also feel like a lot of things are going to get stuck in the crossfire, and there's such a huge gray area regarding a lot of content, right? So my question is that also going to affect content or animated content that's just done here, not specifically anime, but things like The Simpsons or Family Guy or American Dad? I don't even know if that's on TV anymore, or like South Park and things like that. My cat decides to run head first into the window. They're chasing each other, so if you just heard that loud noise, he decided to run onto our windowsill, and his collar always hits the window. So that's what that big thunk was. But they're fine. They're just playing. But anyway, I'm wondering if that's going to affect any Western shows, because those shows also have children that kind of do things that aren't things that kids should actually be doing, like cursing and things like that. And I think it's one of those things where I don't have children, so it's hard for me to speak on parents, but I do know how my parents were with me and my sibling when it came to us like watching things we weren't supposed to. We kind of had enough sense to not watch it if we weren't allowed to, but my parents were also pretty lenient, because some of those things that they also watched with us together, like The Simpsons or Beavis and Butthead and South Park. So I mean, there's also parental controls and things like that, but yes, maybe there's a workaround for kids, but it feels like a lot of people and media is going to get caught in this crossfire. And I think just because of the fact that, like the Reddit user said, the wording is so murky that there's no like straight like line on like what can and can't be crossed. I guess that's at least how I feel about it. Let me know what you guys think about it. But long story short, anime is not going to be banned. There might be some restrictions that might be put on it, but one of the main things too that people have pointed out is that there's no way that anime was going to be banned, because it has done so much for several different entertainment companies. Netflix itself has said that one of their biggest, the large amount of people that are watching a lot of Netflix are people who watch anime. And then you also have, of course, big companies like Crunchyroll that have tons of anime that people are watching. You have anime on Hulu, anime on Amazon Prime. And so anime now is much more prevalent within entertainment than it ever has been before. So I don't think it's going to like an outright banning is going to be helpful for those entertainment companies, especially since a lot of them have seen huge revenue spikes because of anime fans gravitating to those platforms. Also, it's going to cause a huge halt with Japan actually deciding to license things over here to the US if they see that these bills are going to be affecting anime. Because like obviously, for those of us who have been fans for a very long time, we know how we would be able to watch the anime that we want to watch by sailing the high seas. But for some of the younger ones, they may not know that. So I feel like that's what everybody's going to end up turning to if this does affect anime. But there probably are definitely going to be, for lack of a better word, a lot of crash outs, because we enjoy our anime, and it's going to cause a huge issue with not just, entertainment companies, but just fans in general if that was to happen. I think at this point we're kind of in a wait and see sort of period to see what ends up happening with these two bills as far as like what happens if or when they go into effect. But as of right now, to calm a lot of people's fears, because I've seen a lot of like videos being made on TikTok and other social media sites, people talking about it. Anime is not going to be banned at this time. It's just, there's just a possibility of it being more restricted as time goes on regarding these bills. So yeah, we just have to wait and see. But I'll be very sad if anime is affected by this, because as many of us know, like anime is just a genre and there's several subgenres within that. And I think that people have to understand that, the entertainment that we watch, I get that there should be restrictions on like what children should and shouldn't watch, but I also feel like that's up to the kids' parents to be able to set those boundaries, and that, kids are also going to come across things that they shouldn't come across. But I feel like we have a better I don't know. It's like such a sticky situation, because again, I don't have children, but just based off of what I've seen and what I've experienced, my parents talking to us and making sure that we knew what we could and couldn't watch was great for us. I don't know. It's just the situation is entirely just wild in the first place. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about, these bills that are trying to be put into place? And what do you think about the whole idea that anime could potentially be affected, and like if there was a ban put in place on anime? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I'll also, like I said before, link the article down below, so definitely check it out. And yeah, I promise this video is kind of like rambly and things like that, but this situation is just, it's hard to touch on because there's just, it's such a sticky situation, like at least to me. But yeah, I have links to my social media accounts. I have a Blue Sky. I do have a Twitter. I don't really post on there though. I also do have a Threads, and I also do have TikTok. So check me out on all those social media platforms. Please give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. And like I always tell you guys, stay positive, stay nerdy, and in today's day and age, stay healthy, and of course, please stay safe. All right, you guys. Bye.